and he just got pissed off. Thanks everyone for tuning in another episode. We are honored to finally have Isabella Etenberg. I've had some experience working with her in the past. She was a great coach, especially for content creation. So I'll let her talk about what she's been doing lately, and then perhaps you can tell us a little bit about your new community that you're launching, and then we'll get into it.
Of course. Hello, everyone. So nice to meet you on this podcast. Like he said, my name is Isabella Etenberg. I've gone to school for business communications, graduated with honors, and I just knew I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. I was like, I cannot do that. It's not for me. So I dove in head first into the online space. At first, I was really in love with content creation and UGC. And then I got kind of burnt out with that. And I was like, you know what? I need a way to make money online without all of this pitching, without all of this back and forth emailing. So I got into digital products. I made my own digital products. I've experimented with selling other digital products that come with master resale rights and PLR. And now I'm just kind of on the journey of launching my own products in my own community. So I'm really excited to teach content creation, Instagram, online sales, digital marketing, and of course, mindset inside of that community. I'm so excited.
Really cool. So that's interesting. So you went to school for business and communication. You have a clear path, perhaps a corporate structure. What caught your attention in the online world and saying that, you know what, this is for me. I'm gonna not go this route and change directions.
Yeah, so I went to Brock University for honors business communications, and then obviously I kind of got a taste within the school structure of, how it might be to work a 9 to 5, and it was just so chaotic. I was like, I love learning, but in a job, you're working, you're not really learning as much as school. So I was like, I love going to school. I love learning, although it was super stressful. I saw my peers all around me getting ready to, go into a 9 to 5. And I was like, growing up, my mom has just always told me, work for yourself, work for yourself. That's how you're going to be successful. So she kind of programmed that into my brain at a really early age, thankfully. So I saw everyone doing their own thing, but I was just kind of going like I didn't really have any plan, honestly. Like throughout school, I just focused on learning. I had a few jobs that I was working, and then it came time to graduate, and I was like, okay, well, this is when I'm supposed to graduate into like maybe a 9 to 5 like everyone else, but I just didn't feel called to do that. So I was serving at like a small local vegan restaurant, and then because of COVID and everything, they kind of ran out of the resources to employ me, and I was like, you know what? I love creating content. I love making cute little edits or documenting my life and other people's lives around me and experiences. And I was like, there's something here. Like, I want to try to work for myself. Like, my mom had always told me, I love creating content, but it was at a weird place where I'm like, okay, I love this, but how do I monetize this? Right. So I explored UGC. I quickly got burnt out with that after just sending so many different emails to so many different brands. And there was a lot of competition. Like everyone wants to be sent free stuff by brands or get paid to work with brands, right? It's like a dream, especially when you're like my demographic. You're in your young 20s, you're a girl, you love lifestyle content. And I was like, okay, I love the concept of this. I love working online from anywhere. That really excited me. But I was like, I don't want to rely on other people to pay me. I want to get paid myself and have my own name out there, build my own brand, and kind of rely on myself and my own efforts. So I just started seeing content around digital products. And I found a few lovely people who I loved watching their content. And it just really started to click in my brain that with digital products and services, you can quite literally make it one time and then sell it on repeat forever. I was like, this is insane. Like, if you make a $500 course, you could sell that on repeat forever. You could make $1,000 a month, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, 20,000. I was like, I love this because it allows me to create content, also allows me to be creative, which is something I really love, and then also allows me to make my own sales and grow my own brand. So I started by making my own digital product around plant-based eating, and then it was a lower ticket item. So I realized, okay, if I want to do this full time with a small following, I need to sell something a little more high ticket. So that's when I got more into branding and selling courses that help with all of those fun things, social media, Instagram, TikTok, branding, digital products. And then I more recently just decided that, okay, I love this. I'm having success with this. I know how to sell. I know how to sell online, specifically with Instagram. And I just want to expand into creating my own offers. So, yes, I just recently launched my own community where I'm going to be helping anyone who joins with that, essentially growing your own brand, Instagram, content creation, attracting people to your page who are interested in you and your offers, and they love you and they want to work with you and invest with you. Essentially, turning your Instagram into a money-making machine that can also allow you to feel fulfilled and passionate in your work.
That's awesome. A lot to unpack. The first thing that came to mind that's awesome is that you had the support of your mom. Did you like find people along the way? What was that experience like?
Yeah, so when I was in university, I knew that I had already had experience with social media and social media management because actually my first co-op position in high school when I was like 15 was social media management. So I have experience with that and I've known that I've always liked that, but in university I didn't really connect with anyone who was on a similar path to me. Just because I feel like my program was pretty broad. So there were a lot of people who love business, but it was mostly other people wanting to work for other people or manage other people's businesses, not necessarily people who wanted to create their own brand and their own business with digital products. So I didn't really connect with anyone in university who wanted to do what I do. Um, but also I'm not very much of like a party girl. I didn't go out a lot. So I think if I tried a little harder, I probably could have found like people who were, had a similar vision as me, but I didn't come across anybody, no.
You went on a path where nobody else was doing this, at least in your community. Was it lonely at times, like the entrepreneurial journey, to where you've gotten at today? Did you have some friends to support you? Like, what was that journey like?
I feel like because I'm super social and I'm super outgoing, but there's also a huge side of me who is introverted, especially when I'm working on something that's important to me and something that I want to grow, such as my business. So it's kind of hard to find balance, and it can definitely get lonely at times. Especially as a young adult, I see all of my friends now, they're graduating and they're going to, 9 to 5s or one of my closest friends, she's a nurse, so she's working long hours at the hospital. One of my other really close friends, she went to school a little bit later, so she's just in a co-op with a college right now where she is working for a realtor like brokerage in our area. And I see other friends who are one of my other closest friends is graduating and going, to be a veterinarian. So it's really funny where it's like especially being such a young adult where you're seeing everyone else go into their career and you're still doing your own thing with your own business. I think it's a bittersweet feeling. It's really cool to witness other people, graduating and going on to there, but it can also be really lonely because I don't really find I have a lot of people in my daily life that can relate to me, especially around my age, especially in my local area. Um, so yeah, it's weird. It's not as many people in person, but online there are so many people who I've been able to connect with who are around my age, who have similar visions, especially with school. I absolutely love the school community and meeting so many amazing people through that. It's been life-changing, genuinely. And yeah, it's weird. It's a weird feeling sometimes, but it's really fulfilling, and I honestly wouldn't change anything for the world.
That's awesome. If you're open to it, I was thinking maybe you could share a little about your experience working at school because I think you worked at school headquarters, right?
Well, I was working with Garrett Dunleavy, aka Goose, is what everyone knows him for. So I was working for him, and he was at school headquarters every day, which meant I was also at school headquarters every day for like, I think we were in LA for about a week, and then we went to Germany to host a mastermind. That was around 5 to 7 days, I believe. And then I went back to LA for like another month, I think it was. So it was really cool. Like school is like something I've never experienced before. Like the people are all so amazing. They're so ambitious. They have big visions. They've accomplished amazing goals. And how I would describe it is like being in that environment within school and meeting so many other people, especially at the school games where I got to network with so many amazing other like younger entrepreneurs. It just feels like a place where you don't have to explain yourself. I feel like being an entrepreneur, a lot of people don't understand. They just don't really get it, and that's fine. But it's so refreshing to be around other people who do get it, and you don't have to explain yourself at all. It's the best feeling ever. I love it.
That's really cool. When I was younger and started my first businesses, I heard the saying, which stands true, what you're talking about is proximity's power, or like your environment is
Yes.
so important. Uh,
It's so important. Tapping into other people's networks, especially in business, is like, I mean, you can become a millionaire overnight if you get the right opportunity, but also the preparation is what matters as well. People don't understand that you can do a lot of work and you can tap into networks, but if you haven't done the preparation work and you don't have a solid offer or a skill that you can help people with, it's not like nothing's going to really come of that, right? So the preparation piece is also super important. And then networking, tapping into other people's networks, building your own brand, building your own Instagram and social media. And that's something a lot of people overlook as well.
Definitely. So speaking of helping people, what do you think is your favorite product right now that you've helped folks? Because it sounds like you've launched several digital products. And like an entrepreneur, we have to do what we love doing, but we also have to do what pays the bills. And sometimes it's a
Hmm.
product that we might not like too much. Maybe you can share like a product that does really well for you that you might not enjoy, but you have to do the work and you know that's what's, paying the bills. And then what's the product that's like your pride and joy?
I love this question so much. So, yes, like you said, I have launched a few different products. The first one was I'm vegan, and a lot of people want to learn that from me, which I love. And I'll actually probably be launching another product like that. It was kind of like a plant-based guide, just giving people tips and a structure, some sort of framework to start eating more plant-based. That I would say was a passion project. But like you said, sometimes you also have to launch things that actually pay the bills. So that was a lower ticket item. I really enjoyed the process of creating that, launching that, connecting with people, creating content around that. But I just realized without a huge following, low ticket isn't really the move sometimes. So that's when I actually switched over to creating a brand new Instagram. It was a faceless Instagram account, and I grew that to from 0 to almost 1,000 followers. And that's when I started selling the ultimate branding course. So I would say that was kind of the transition for me of like passion project versus paying the bills. And obviously you can do both at once. Like I'm such a huge proponent of actually building your personal brand so that you can do what you're passionate about and also pay the bills. Like, I love that concept, and that's what I'm practicing and also helping people with inside of my community. But that was the main pivot for me was going from low ticket to high ticket. And there are also ways to do that within your niche, within your passion. Instead of selling a $29 guide, I could have sold a $2,900 program, right? But it just at the time that made the best kind of sense for me to transition to. So that's the greatest example.
Who do you think has influenced you the most as far as like for online products, digital products, influencers that you follow or accounts that you follow?
Oh, that's a good one. Hmm. A lot of people influence me for different reasons. Alex and Layla Hermosi, they influence me because they're such a strong couple. They're both in business. They align so well together. They've been able to build an empire that's so incredibly inspiring, especially as a young woman who's currently single, looking to, find somebody who I really connect with and want to grow with in different ways. That's something that's really inspiring to me. I love their dynamic and how they've been able to grow. Also, influencers, like just on TikTok, um, just like not even huge ones necessarily, but just like everyday people as well who are just being creative and doing what they love and remaining consistent. That inspires me so much because I love content creation. I love the creativity behind it and just seeing other people be creative on a daily basis. It just like adds fuel to my fire that's like already burning inside me. Who else? I would say in terms of digital products, Abigail Pugh. She is one of the people who I've bought into her courses, into her mentorship and stuff like that. She makes digital products look easy, honestly. Like I love how she incorporates digital products into her personal brand and daily life. I've learned a lot from her. Who else? There's so many people that inspire me. I can't think of any other ones right now off the top of my head, but yeah, I would say those are probably the top people who inspire me in business.
Segueing just a little bit, I've seen your content and from my perspective, it seems you're very spiritual. I think you post a
Yes,
lot of
definitely.
like, times, like you happen to always see when it's like 1:11,
The
3:32,
angel numbers.
angel numbers. Yeah.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about like your spiritual journey. How did you become, have you always been spiritual? Did you have like a moment that, and maybe how do you involve that with your business?
Yes, I love this question, especially because that's also what I want to focus on inside of my paid community. I want it to be a place where we can merge success and spirituality, simply put, because I really do believe that both go hand in hand so very well. And if you use one without the other, you can, but I mean, putting both together is so powerful. So I love this question, and I can definitely appreciate that. Um, I would say. I remember like being pretty spiritual since I was younger. I want to say like in elementary school, when I was getting older, probably about to graduate into high school. I remember always being interested in like incense and like little spiritual quotes online and like slowly getting into, spirituality. So I would say it started pretty early on because my mom has also been into spirituality a little bit as well. Like growing up, I kind of witnessed it a little bit. So I think that was another like little seed that was planted in my head as well. Um, and then I kind of just, I would say more so in like the recent years is when I've really started to dive more into spirituality. Throughout university, I was also spiritual, but I wouldn't say I didn't really like practice anything specifically. Like I didn't have any ongoing like manifestation practices, or I wasn't as into like journaling and self-development as I am now. So I would say it's something that started off small from when I was younger and then just slowly is growing with age. And I can still feel myself growing now into different practices every day. But yeah, it's something that's grown a lot. And then to answer your question, like with business, I it's hard to pinpoint exactly where they connect because I just kind of live life in a way where it's like I try to pay attention, like really close attention to my intuition and like how I feel. And I'm really, trying to honor myself and my boundaries and my limitations while also building something. So I really think that the key just comes down to getting in touch with your intuition. I think that's the most spiritual thing that anyone can do is connecting with your intuition, living in the present moment, and following those little intuitive hits that come to you throughout the day. When you really do, take the time to slow down and connect with your intuition and build that practice and relationship, that's something that only grows and it only gets better. So that has been life changing for me. Like it's led me to where I am now, where I was interested in content creation, and then I kind of tried to tune into myself and realize, okay, this is burning me out. Let's pivot here. Let's do something differently. And then I got into the digital products, and then that really like sparked something huge inside of me where I was like, okay, this aligns with me spiritually, but also just like physically, emotionally, because if I monetize with a digital product, that means I can just be myself and I can post content, I can talk to people, I can connect with people. And that to me is also just so important. And that's one of the things that I love the most is just being able to be myself. But I think without tapping into your intuition, that can sometimes be hard to follow. So I would say intuition is huge. It's the number one reason why I have pivoted so many times in my business journey, in my self-development journey. And that's why I've kind of grown into my newest offer with my coaching community is honestly all based off of intuition. And even on my school like about page on the little graphic, it says 111 because that's the angel number for intuition. And that's my angel number. I love that number. And fun fact, that is also the number, like the address for the school headquarters. So, so many things have just aligned perfectly. And it's like, it's undeniable. It is nothing but spirituality, honestly, and my intuition. It's crazy.
For someone wanting to tap into their intuition, they're not very good at it or they don't know, what are some of like the things that you do to tap into your intuition?
I would say the number one tip and the number one place you have to start is just by slowing down. You're never going to hear those internal whispers and nudges or hints if you're always go, go, go in survival mode, rushing everywhere. You're waking up at 8 a.m. to get to a 9 to 5. Like if you're constantly on the go and you're constantly in a rush and you don't have time to slow down, be yourself, be around people who make you feel safe, be in environments and places who make you feel safe. You're never going to be able to constantly like be able to go into a place that allows you to feel calm, cool, collected, and also then you can connect with yourself and your intuition. So the first step I would say is consciously choosing to slow down and create moments, even if it's just small moments within your day, of just pausing, taking a few breaths, kind of tuning into how you feel, how is your body feeling? Are you hungry? Are you cold? Do you need a sweater? Like it all starts with those little things and those conscious decisions and moments in your day. So that's probably the best tip to start.
I agree, slowing down. It takes people like me who you need to get knocked down to realize you need to slow down. Uh,
Yes, I can relate to that.
I was gonna segue into it sounds like you were forced to slow down through a I don't know if it's traumatic event, but can you speak a little bit about what happened? You went through a major blackout recently?
Oh yeah, oh my gosh. So right now it's May, so thankfully here in Canada we're getting out of winter and into spring and summer now. So I'm so thankful that for that. But um during the winter, like I don't even remember the date. Like I literally just like dissociated through that, I swear. But we had like here in Ontario, Canada, we had one of the worst ice storms that's been recorded since like I think it was like 18 or 1900 something. I can't remember the date. But it was a terrible ice storm, and I'm literally still looking outside, like behind my computer is like a huge field, and the ice destroyed so many beautiful trees and everything, not completely, but a lot of branches because it was like a flash freeze. We had a rain because as things are slowly warming up in Canada, we get into spring where sometimes we have rain and then snow and ice. So it's dangerous if things flash freeze, right? Where you get rain and then overnight it just turns into like you wake up and there's ice everywhere. It can be super dangerous. But essentially that is what happened. And I went to bed. I heard some rain on the window and then I woke up. I went into my kitchen and I just looked outside and it was all like everything was covered in ice. It was like the freaking ice age. It was insane and it was so scary. I instantly started crying. I was terrified because there was this beautiful tree like out front that we have. It's an apple tree. It's pretty big. And then behind that is an even bigger tree. I think it's like a white oak or like birch tree, but it's huge. And we have power lines right beside it. That tree completely split in half, fell down. One side fell onto the power line, one side fell onto the our garage. We had no power at all. It was also on top of the driveway, so we couldn't drive anywhere to get water or food or anything like that. So that was super scary, honestly. Like that was the scariest part was just seeing all of the damage that the ice had done essentially overnight. Um, it was a really weird experience. We had no power. I couldn't use my phone. Obviously, being a content creator and entrepreneur, it's like, okay, what now? Like, I can't do my job. I can't leave. So what do? I honestly just took the opportunity to kind of introspect and go inwards. I had my journal beside me basically the whole time. I was journaling a lot, I was reading a lot, and I just kind of tried to make the most of it. Like kind of used it as like a forced retreat almost. And I learned a lot. It was a really weird time.
How long was the power out?
The power was out for 10 days at my house.
And did you
Yeah.
stay there the whole 10 days? Or did you
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. I was not at my house, thankfully, for the full 10 days. Um, I spent around, I think it was 4 or 5 days at my house, and then thankfully my dad came to rescue me because the ice had subsided and it started melting, so it wasn't as bad. My dad came all the way from Toronto to come and pick me up because our cars were trapped in the driveway, right? So I couldn't drive anywhere. He came to pick me up. I stayed at my grandparents' house for about a week until the power came back on, and then as soon as the power came back on, I came home and it was just like the weirdest feeling ever to be without power. That sounds probably so like this is such like a first world problem, I guess, but it was just such a weird time.
Yeah, not only that, like being able to take a hot shower, like at a moment's notice.
Yes.
Like there's no running water. I've been through some blackouts, and those are the small things that you become grateful for.
Yes. And you learn just how much you take everything for granted. Like being able to just walk and flicker on a light switch, or like you said, take a nice warm shower. Also, there's something so spiritual about being able to just shower. I feel like it really like rejuvenates your energy. It's such like a nice way to cleanse old energy. And just not being able to shower for like 5 days basically was insane. I felt so gross.
Wow. So that was one way that you could get forced to connect with your intuition, to definitely slow down, journal more. They say sometimes when we're put in a corner like that, that's when like our genius comes out and our creativity comes out. Did anything during those 10 days of just weirdness, like did any creativity come out that you created a new product or went with a different direction with your business? Like what came out of that?
Yeah, so like I said, like when I was at home, I was journaling a lot. I was doing a lot of like introspection and like I guess kind of like shadow work, but also creative work and coming up with like brainstorming ideas, but not forcing myself to. Like only when ideas come to me is when I really give it the time of day to like, okay, an idea came to mind. Do I think it's a good idea? Yes or no? If there's something there, I'll journal on it more. If there's not, then I will just move on. And honestly, like I just really was going with the flow. And I think in a world where it's so go, 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 it's so rushed, like that's one of the most powerful things that you can do is just to slow down, go with the flow. So when I felt the need to journal, I journaled. When I felt the need to read a book, I read a book. If I felt the need to eat something, I ate something. And then after my dad rescued me, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents and my dad and my great aunts and uncles, and I just really took some time off to just spend time with my loved ones, my family. And honestly, I find those are when the best creative ideas come to you. I can't exactly remember if I had any like really profound ideas come to me because I have like this huge ongoing list of business ideas in my phone. Like you could probably relate as an entrepreneur. I write everything down. If it's a good idea, I just write it down in this one note on my phone. So I can't remember if like I wrote any at that time because I don't keep timestamps, but I find even just taking those periods of time and slowing down, like even after that is when you feel more well rested, you feel more rejuvenated, and then your brain feels safe to actually rest and then go into more of a creative flow. That's also something that's so important with slowing down, like we were talking about before, is being a creative, you actually need those down times, or else your brain won't be able to calm down and feel safe, go into rest and digest, and then also have the energy to be creative after.
It's funny you
Yeah.
mentioned notes. I don't know if it shows it, but I think my screen, let's see. Oh yeah, there. This is my notepad.
There's so many notes
Yeah, like you said, like you get
that go
ideas
into it.
right on the spot. I mean, I think this is like 10 years worth of notes. It hasn't ended.
I
Um,
love that. I have different notes. Like I have like content this week. I have different business and digital product ideas that I keep so many different ideas. And then I have other ones with like content backlog of like things that I can post with everything I have in my camera roll right now. If I get stuck and I don't know what to post for a day, I can post that. So yeah, so many notes inside of my
yeah.
phone at all times.
Talk about
Things
things
that
that are awesome of being an online business owner, like freedom of time, freedom of this. But was there something
Mhm.
that surprised you becoming an online business owner? Like, wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
this existed, that this is awesome. Like, had I known this, I would have been
yeah.
even more motivated and jumped in sooner. And then the flip side of that, what are maybe some situations you're like, what the heck was that?
I love this question as well. So the first one I would say like something I maybe didn't expect or something like that is or something that was surprising to me, I guess you could say, was that I felt like some parts of me felt like I had to have everything perfect before starting a digital product or like a course or before, becoming more of a business and a brand. I thought like there were parts of me that were like, oh, okay, well, everything should be perfectly set up, or I should have everything perfectly thought out, or there should be an exact strategy in place, or I should know every single thing to every single piece of this puzzle. When I actually don't think that's the case at all. I think some of the best offers or the best people or the best things are kind of created and just when they go for it and when you just like decide to make a conscious decision to like go all in on something, you don't worry about like the perfectionist tendencies. I think actually that is when the most meaningful, impactful business actually gets done. So I would say like realizing that not everything has to be perfect before you start, you just need to start. Like that was kind of a revolutionary thing for me. And I think that's why I looked up to Abigail Pugh so much, is because she approaches content and business in a way where it's very action based and not overthinking, not perfectionism. She's a really big advocate about that. And so am I, right? Like that's the only reason I've been able to build my business and to actually just go for it, build a brand new account, actually start making sales is because I just decided, okay, like yes, I could sit down and plan out an entire business plan for like 6 months, or I could just go for it and start making sales tomorrow. Like, just realizing that it's actually a decision to just do the thing right now instead of waiting was revolutionary for me, especially I think other people can definitely relate to that if they have like perfectionist tendencies. It's so huge to just do the damn thing. And then I would say, like, on the flip side, maybe something that was weird. I think this is like a huge conversation to be had, and I could talk about this for years, but just like being a woman in business is like, I think, very different than being a man in business, just with the way that people view you or look at you or treat you. I think sometimes people can look down on you for being a woman, which in 2025 is insane that that's even still happening. But I would definitely say that that's still a very real thing that I've experienced, which is lame. But that's okay because my target audience is women.
Yeah, that's definitely challenging. I didn't know it was, that big, as you mentioned, especially in 2025, you'd think people would be more
Mhm.
understanding. And this is what I learned too. Maybe, I don't know if you've applied this, but it's like emotional leverage, how to use everything to my benefit rather than getting emotional about it. Like, F you, man. I was like, how can I flip this situation? And I was just like, you know what? Maybe I can leverage prices because he feels bad now, but your prices, I'm not too convinced about how much this costs and how, no, we can knock it off. How much to make it work. So I was like, I started to use that to my advantage, but it sucks, especially at a young age. I don't know if you've, besides being a woman, do you think like your age has affected you as well? Like how people view you?
I think that it's had an effect, but not on other people, more on me. At more so at the beginning, I was like, okay, I am younger, like, and I didn't really feel that way until I started pitching people who are older than me, because I was like, okay, well, I'm younger than them. Are they going to think that like they should work with someone their own age or work with someone older than them? So I have had like moments of asking myself these questions or like, is this something I should be kind of worried about? But I think that when you have credibility and when you've done great things and when you have confidence and conviction and the proof to back it up that you are who you say you are and you can help people with what you claim that you can help them with, then people don't really care as much about age. But I think there is a narrative in business sometimes where if with some people where if you are younger then like, oh well, why would I want to work with a 20-year-old life coach, like they haven't lived much life. But I'm like, actually that's not true because there are some 20-year-olds who are multimillionaires and there are also 20-year-olds who are homeless. There are 40-year-olds who are multimillionaires, there are 40-year-olds who are homeless. Age is extremely relative, it doesn't matter at all. Would you rather learn from a 23-year-old entrepreneur has made $10 million dollars or a 40-year-old who is homeless and doesn't know anything about business? Age is completely relative. It doesn't matter at all. And it certainly does not indicate experience. Sometimes it can, yes. But a lot of the time, especially in business, it doesn't because a lot of people who are ambitious and who are in business and have a great vision, they don't operate on the same timeline as everyone else. They work very hard and they work consistently, or they work very smart and they get things done relatively quickly, right? So time is linear and it doesn't really matter, is my way of looking at it.
I agree. I look at like years of experience. If I'm going to work with somebody who's 24, but they told me they started when they were 19 or 20, I'm like, they've got 5 years of experience as opposed to somebody who's, 40 and
Hmm.
they maybe have 20 years of business, but they had like, let's say content creation. They just started content creation. I'm not going to want to work with them. I'm going to want to work with the 24-year-old.
Exactly.
Got 5 years on them.
Exactly. I
That,
completely agree. Like, and that's why I don't really worry about it. Like, I've had those moments of like questioning, but then I'm like, no, like I have a lot of experience and I can help people. I'm very knowledgeable. I'm smart. I'm confident, and that's really all that matters. I started social media management when I was in high school. It was like the first ever job I had really ever done for my co-op when I was like, I think I was 15, maybe actually 16 because I had to drive. So I was 16. And ever since then, I've been working with social media. I'm almost 25 now. So that's almost what, like almost 10 years that I've been doing this. So I have a lot of experience and knowledge, and that's really all that matters. So I haven't worried about age very much. But I do notice that some men in business will treat me differently because I'm a woman, but that's just is what it is. That's okay. Now I just have to earn more money than them.
yeah. As far as content creation that I'm learning, the accounts that you follow, the algorithm will sometimes push you out to that same content. So like if your for you page is completely off, it's like you shouldn't be following these accounts. But anyway, so I noticed that two of the strongest accounts are both women because I feel like it's almost like you have it. I don't want to say twice as hard, but you have to come out twice as confident as men because of how you're viewed, which sucks. It's not fair, but that makes the ones who decide to own that much better. And I mean, they're,
Mhm.
one girl I follow, she's making 50K a month, and the other girl, I mean, she's pushing over 100K a month.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and they talk a lot about, what happens with how to sell to guys and, people with chips on their shoulder, the egos
Mhm.
like that.
Honestly, I love being a woman in business. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. It's especially super funny to sell men in business as a woman because there's just different tactics and strategies that you can use to kind of play on some of those factors. And it's actually really satisfying when the sale comes in. So I don't really care. I just use it to my advantage. Like you said with the age example that you gave when you had your business, like there are pros and cons to everything. There's a pros and cons to being a young person in business. There's pros and cons to being a woman in business. There's pros and cons to being a man in business. It just depends. So as long as you use things to your advantage, I really think that's all that matters. And the smartest women, they already know that. So it's good.
Being a confident online woman business owner, what would you tell someone who's watching right now that's on the fence, but that, is consuming content because they want to start an online business, but they haven't taken the action, like you said, to get out of their head and just move? What are some things that you would tell them to break through that? And it's a type of imposter syndrome or mental barrier to get started.
Geez, there are so many lessons I've learned over my lifetime now of like just so many lessons that play a huge key part in like why I do what I do. I think of it as like a huge puzzle of different lessons that I've kind of built over all these years. But I would say the first few words of advice I'd give to someone who is on the fence and, they know they have a big vision, but maybe they're, a little scared to start or they're unsure. I would just say, you never know until you just go for it, right? If you have a big vision, you have a big vision for a reason. Not a lot of people do. And even fewer people actually decide to make the conscious decision to just go for it. So, what do you really have to lose? Either you can stay where you are and you can possibly lose out on this amazing opportunity, or you can go for it and you can potentially build a huge, successful empire. And the worst possible case scenario is being exactly where you are right now. The worst scenario is being where you are right now. Worst case scenario, what do? You'll go back to the exact same life that you're living right now. Maybe moving with your parents, you'll get a 9 to 5, you'll save up money. Like you're probably at that place already. So you don't have anything to lose. You have possibly the world to gain. Like, why would you let fear hold you back? I think that is what I would say. Just go for it. You never know until you just try, and don't let perfectionism creep up on you either. Just go for it and learn along the way because no one has all the answers. Even like the most successful people in business who you look up to right now, they still don't know all of the answers. They don't have all the answers. They probably don't expect themselves to have all the answers. So don't expect yourself to either. Just go for it.
Great advice. And I would like to know, what are your big goals for your business? Material goals as well, personal goals, financial goals, if you'd like to share anything.
Okay, for sure. So personal goals, I have kind of fell off the reading wagon. I really love reading books, but in the past few years as building my business, I find that I'm learning through courses and stuff like that, which is amazing, but it's also really fun to read books, especially I love like personal development books, health, wellness, spirituality. It's something that I've been missing. So I have a goal for myself to read more. I want to read at least one book per month while still also learning in my like online digital capacity with courses and stuff like that. So I want to have both. And I've been reading more books. I think I've already read like 5 or 6 books this year. I think so. I'm on track. I'm keeping up with it. Yeah, I'm keeping up with it, and I'm excited about that. Also, fitness, I'm walking more. Like, I feel like entrepreneurs can relate. Sometimes when you're sitting all day, you're like so focused on building something, especially digitally, it can be a little too easy to let your personal care slip away sometimes. And I've done that in the past, and I don't want to do that anymore. So, reading, I would say walking. I've been walking every single day. Trying to hit 10K steps every day, but not putting too much pressure on myself because right now I'm just building the habit of walking every day, whether that's to the end of my driveway, whether that's to the end of my street, whether that's 10K, just consistency with that. And then also meal prepping. I've always loved food. I'm vegan. I love healthy eating, something that makes me feel so wonderful and abundant and expansive. Just meal prepping, getting on that. I've been doing that. I've been pretty consistent with that as well, every single week, so I can just have quick, healthy meals throughout the week. What else? personal goals also in just seeing family more whenever I can. I've been pretty good at that already because our schedules are pretty flexible working for ourselves. So spending more time with family. Um, and then for this year, I would say this is more like financial and material. And also personal, because I feel like as an entrepreneur and as a content creator, sometimes it can feel lonely, like we kind of touched on a little bit. That's another huge driving factor and like motivational factor for me with creating my community is having a place where content creators, entrepreneurs can come and learn and connect and just feel a sense of belonging and actually have more like connection in their daily life, even if it is online, with other people who have a similar or the same vision as them. So, building my community is the main goal for this year, the rest of this year. And I want to get my goal is to help 11,000 people inside of my community. But the first
11,111.
Yeah, of course. Yes, 11,111. That's literally on my vision board. So I love that you connected that. You remembered my angel number. That exact number is on my vision board. So I want to help that many people inside of my coaching community. But I also want to break it down into smaller goals. So I just launched, I have my first member, which is insane because I don't even have any content inside of it already. Like I'm still in the process of making the videos and the curriculum. I have my first person in there already. I'm so excited. And I just looked at the recording time. It said 1-1-11 because now it's at 18. So when I was saying that, I saw my angel number, so it's a sign. Um, my first goal is to get 10 people inside. And then my second goal, my first landmark, I would say is 10 people, then 111 people, and then maybe 1,111, and then 11,111. Like I want to really grow this thing and help people. And I'm so excited. So that is a huge goal for me.
I'm confident we're gonna see big things from you. As far as like mental resilience goes, because you need a lot of resilience in entrepreneurship, something some people don't talk about. But I think we
Mm-hmm.
don't talk about it too because we don't know how much we can take until we're in it, and then we realize how strong we are.
I agree 100%. You just have to keep going, honestly. And like I said a little bit about perfectionism, like you just have to realize that like no one has the answers 100% of the time. A lot of the time, some people don't even have the answer 50% of the time. Like you just have to keep going and you have to know that sometimes you're going to keep going in a way that feels like you're in this like dark tunnel with no light at the end, but you just have to keep going and you have to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You are going to figure it out, whether that's small daily decisions or big issues that might arise. Like you just have to keep going and you have to hold yourself accountable as well. Something else people don't talk about in like being an entrepreneur or a content creator is like your success really depends on you like 100%. So if you're going to decide not to show up, then your results are also going to reflect that. You're not going to be successful. So you really have to hold yourself accountable to showing up and remaining consistent.
100%. I've got a vision board and like an affirmation sheet that I like to read. And one of the things, and this is for me personal, because exactly what you said, hold yourself accountable, is what you do for myself. I'd say what I do today will either hinder me next week or benefit me next week. So like the
I
days I don't
love
want to do
that.
anything, I'll be like, okay, what's today? Next Monday. If I don't do this today, I'm just gonna beat myself up. It's gonna be worse. Do I want that? No. So the pain of that pain is stronger than the pain of doing what I want, what I need to do. So I just do it.
Yes. That is such a powerful lesson. I update my lock screen to have like little like quotes that resonate with me and anytime I like see a new one that is starting to resonate more, I put that as my lock screen. My current one, and then I have my cute little like branding around it, but I'll read it out to you. It says, "People are waiting for me to show up because my work changes lives." I just think that's so beautiful for anyone to hear. Your work changes lives. You just need to make the conscious decision and show up. And that's what I'm working on doing, remaining more consistent and kind of finding better systems and better flows for me not to get burnt out while remaining consistent is a huge lesson I'm learning right now.
I love that. It's very powerful, and I might borrow it at times because I write like things that every quarter on my phone,
I
like get
love
percent.
that.
Okay, so we're coming up on time. I just want to end up with like a quick game, like this or that. So we'll do rapid fire. I'll just read you out two words, and then you choose one or the other. And if it's tough, well, you got to decide. Okay, this one I think I already. It's funny because you mentioned it earlier. I think I already know, but plan everything or go with the flow.
Go with the flow, baby.
Beach day or snow trip.
Beach day, 100%.
Going viral or getting 10K cash right now.
Cash over followers always.
Teleportation or time travel.
Hmm. Teleportation.
Mentorship or self-taught.
My first instinct was a mix of both, but I know you said I have to choose. So I will pick mentorship because working with someone who can get you to where you want to be faster, it's essentially like a cheat code. You can figure it out, but there's no telling how long it will take you. If you work with someone who's already put the work in and figuring out the trial and error, you're cutting your like success timeline in half essentially, or even shorter. So mentorship.
Okay. Love at first sight or slow burn.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh my God, this one's really hard. It's so funny you're asking this because I feel like had this conversation recently. I would say slow burn is probably what will last longer in the long term. So I guess I'll say that one.
Okay. Deep talks or shared laughs.
I need deep talks. I can't do the shallow stuff. Like I need to talk so deep. So yeah, that one.
Okay. Uh, which which one is worse? Jealousy or indifference?
Jealousy, like 100%. There's so much indifference sometimes, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I think jealousy can turn into hatred or like bitterness very quickly. So I would say that's worse.
Opposites attract or shared interests?
I used to think opposites attract, but I don't think that is the best. I really don't think that's the case. I think shared interests are the way to go, 100%.
Last one I have here, this one I thought was interesting. Be the heartbreaker or get your heart broken.
Ooh, that's so hard. Heartbreak sucks. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Heartbreak sucks so much. But if I had a choice, I'd rather be the one breaking up with somebody because it hurts, it sometimes hurts less. But there's beauty in both, right? Like sometimes it just depends on the dynamic. Sometimes you have to break a heart, like for your own personal reasons, maybe, or I don't know, every situation's so different. And then there's also beauty in like having your heart broken. It can be very poetic and there can be so many different lessons in that. So obviously being the heartbreaker, I think hurts less. So I think everyone wants to try to be on that side, but I've experienced both. So I would probably say the heartbreaker
Yeah, I think I would choose that as
less.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
tough. You said something like it's romantic and it can be beautiful. When I had my heart broken at 30, I didn't know that was like the best thing that would happen to me because it made me who I am today. But at the time,
exactly.
it's just like worth.
Yes, and I think heartbreak for so many people, if you use it the right way, it's such a catalyst into your level up, like your next level self or your next level life. Like I see so many people that go through a breakup, whether they're the one breaking up with someone or they're the one getting heartbroken, and they just use that as motivation to better themselves, do better in life, level up their entire lifestyle, especially with, going to the gym, getting fit, eating healthy, maybe starting a new business or reading more. So I think it's really important to remember that everything happens for a reason. When I had my first heartbreak, it felt like the end of the world, but it's unfortunately inevitable sometimes. So you just have to try to remember that life goes on and everything happens for a reason, even if you can't even if you never know that reason, there's still a reason. So that is what's kept me sane throughout my heartbreaks.
Definitely. This was awesome. We've
Yes.
talked like business, we've talked content, we've talked spirituality, we've talked a little bit of love. So I really appreciate you coming on. And how can people find you? If somebody wants to join your community, how can they find your community?
I would say first of all, follow me on Instagram, Isabella.Etenberg. Maybe you can link it in the show notes. Um, and Instagram is awesome connecting with me there because it's where I am the most active aside from my community. And you can also see my content in real time, see how I post content, see how I post stories. And then also, if you're interested in working with me right now, I'm trying to fill out my community, get, the first 10 people inside. I'm offering a free one-on-one call for everybody who joins my community. It's school.com/manifest. And yeah, can't wait to see you
Got
inside.
Manifest?
Yep, I got manifest, baby.
That's
I'm so
awesome.
excited about that. Like, I find like the school URLs, like when I first created that one, I was like, okay, there's a pretty good amount of like good URLs that are like still available. So I snatched up school.com/manifest so quickly. And I'm thinking that it might evolve it into more of like a spiritual energy kind of vibe, but I want it to be a place where we can talk about everything because we could talk about this for like hours and hours, but I really do believe that success and sales especially comes down to energy. And a lot of people who aren't doing well in business, they just need a lot of energy work. So it's going to be a place where we can do everything. We can talk about social media and Instagram and how to make it into, a lead magnet and sales magnet without having to hop on one-on-one calls. But we can also talk about energy and mindset and lifestyle and manifestation because I think it all plays a huge role. So, yeah, I got manifest. I was so excited.
That's awesome. So everyone, thanks for tuning in and watching. If there's anything else you'd like to go more into detail, please follow Isabella, send her a DM. Please join our community, be part of those first 10 people to join. And until next time.